Hello, welcome to CFNOLA Online. I am here today to brief you on Thursday's workout. So let's draw our attention right to the WOD to get started. We have 7 rounds for time, 9 jump squats, 15 double unders, 21 sit-ups, 15 double unders, 9 jump squats, and a 30-second front leaning rest. We'll get into the workout specifically in just a couple of minutes, although I do want to take from this that there's a lot of movement about the hip and a lot of jumping. The general warm-up today, it's going to be 2 rounds, 45 seconds of a jump rope, 15 seconds of a FLR, which is going to stand for front leaning rest. This is the same exercise that we have right there. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. It's a plank on your hands. 10 toe touch squats, 5 T thoracic spine rotations, 10 leg swings, and 10 sit-ups. Talked a little bit about the flow of the workout, but one thing I do want to bring your attention to is that these rounds are a pyramid of reps, right? So we have a 9, 15, 21, 15, 9. So that's a round with your jump squats, your double unders, and your sit-ups. So you only do the sit-ups one time and you go up the pyramid, down the pyramid, and then you do a 30-second plank to finish a round. So 7 rounds will end up being, 147 sit-ups, 210 double unders, and you guys can do the math on the jump squats. The cool down is gonna be 2 rounds, 1 minute of a calf stretch per side, 1 minute of the lax ball in the foot, and then we have something new today. We have 1 round of barefoot walking on a soft surface, 50 feet in each direction, which I'm gonna explain in just a second. So here comes some demos. The 45-second jump rope, I'm not gonna demo that, but I am gonna talk about some alternatives for the jump rope. First, we wanna caution you again not to use your jump rope on the concrete. It's gonna probably tear your jump rope up pretty good unless you have a super smooth concrete surface there. But other alternatives, you can do side-to-side line hops, you can do jumping jacks, you can jump up and down off of a curb, you can do the penguin hops. If you don't have a jump rope or you don't have a good place to jump rope, any of those things will be really good for the jump rope up here and the double unders that are down in the workout. The front leaning rest, like I said, is just a plank on your hands. So I'm gonna get set in that plank position and get nice and tight. That's it. It's not quite as tensile as the RKC or the Russian kettlebell plank, but you still want to be nice and tight. You still want to keep pretty much that dead bug or almost hollow body position through the back for your front leaning rest. While I'm down here, I'm going to skip the toe touch squats for a second and go into the T-spine rotations. So I'm in a tabletop position. One hand is behind my head, and I'm gonna rotate through the shoulder in towards the arm. So I'm gonna rotate through the shoulder and then bring the shoulder up towards the ceiling. If I feel like too much movement is happening in my lower back, I can lock it by sitting back on my hips a little bit, and I can go through that same rotation, 5 on each side there. Leg swings, keep the body anchored, abs tight, only move at the hip joint or the movement or the joint you're trying to mobilize for your rotations or swings. And then finally 10 sit-ups. If you have an ab mat, awesome. If you don't have an ab mat, you can use a rolled up towel or maybe a pillow even to kind of support your lumbar curve. But regardless of the object I have, I'm gonna press it up against my butt as I'm seated. I can have feet flat on the ground or butterflied a little bit. But what I want to do here for my sit-up is I want to bring the shoulders to the ground, just opening up this hip as far as it'll go without the ground hitting me. And then I want to bring the shoulders forward of the hips. So if you drew a straight line up from my hips to my ceiling, the shoulders are forward of those as I'm finishing that rep. And yeah, probably butterflying your feet a little bit or pushing those knees out will help you close that distance of the sit-up. see. So that's the warm-up movements. We're going into the workout. We talked about double unders in the workout. We talked about sit-ups. We talked about double unders in the warm-up. We talked about sit-ups in the warm-up. So the only new movement here is a jump squat. I like to think about this as squat jump. So I'm gonna squat first, and then as I'm coming out of the bottom, once I break parallel on my way up, I'm gonna squeeze my quads and my butt hard enough to drive me off the ground. But the points of performance and the range of motion are the same in the bottom of the movement. So this is a movement that I can really be susceptible to short as I'm going up and down, specifically the range of motion and the depth. So let's take a look at some squat jumps. All right, so I wanted to make sure I was down, basically dropping at a normal squat pace. As I'm coming up, I break parallel, I squeeze my butt and my quads really hard to pop myself off the ground for those squat jumps. I believe we talked about all of the other movements that are in the workout. I think this workout will probably take longer than you're anticipating, knowing that you have 3.5 minutes of being in that plank for the whole workout. And yes, you do have to do the front leaning rest after the last or 7th round of this workout. Cool down, 2 rounds, 1 minute calf stretch per side. I love the thing on the pole here. I'm gonna go either straight leg or bent knee or a combination of the two. Lax ball in the foot. Again, I'll take my shoe off, maybe take my sock off and use the lacrosse ball in the arch of my foot. And the last thing we have is the barefoot walking on a soft surface. So try to find some grass, try to find some sand, some dirt, something that's soft. Kick the shoes off. If they're not already off for the lax ball in the foot, and honestly, if you do the calf stretch barefoot, it'd probably be better. But we're gonna go on our toes for 50 feet, on our heels for 50 feet, on the outside of our foot for 50 feet, and then on the inside of our foot for 50 feet. What I would probably do for this is, especially if you're new to it and your surface isn't super soft, is I would go through a 25-foot length on each one of these and then come back through another 25-foot length of each one of them. And like with any of the cool downs, if you find that this stuff is impactful, you can do multiple rounds of it. You can hold these stretches for a longer period of time. We're just trying to give you the minimum sort of stimulus from these exercises with those time domains and those reps. But thank you guys for coming to CrossFit NOLA online, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.